It's Wednesday, April the 11th, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Business at the Barbados Supreme Court complex will be affected tomorrow for a second straight day due to the worrying environmental conditions there. From as early as 8:30 this morning, frustrated workers brought the wheels of justice to a halt after they walked off the job at the White Park Road St. Michael institution. The industrial action, which affected business at both the court and the registration department, resulted in emergency talks between the relevant authorities, including the workers' representative, that's the National Union of Public Workers, Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson, and Supreme Court Registrar Barbara Cook-Alleyne. Following the 2-hour-long talks, Cook-Alleyne informed the media that officials will meet on Friday to discuss the issue further.
The staff came out this morning because of concerns they have with the building. We have met with the Attorney General, Permanent Secretary, the Office of Attorney General, Chief Justice, the NUPW, shop stewards, and we've discussed the matter. We're going to close the court today and tomorrow, and Friday at 1 o'clock the staff will come back. We'll let them know what's happening.
Could you confirm that it is because of mold or anything, so no?
Don't want to confirm anything at this stage, but we do have some environmental issues at the court.
Okay, and is it being investigated at present?
Yes. We do have scientists on board with us since last year, November. Yeah.
And while Cook-Alleyne would only say the situation was as a result of environmental issues, NUPW General Secretary Roslyn Smith told reporters ahead of the talks that the situation was allegedly caused by mold in the roof.
Partly the building is a sick building. The main area is the roof that has to be changed because the mold is dropping down onto the workers, and it's a matter where we know that the roof is not a small issue. It will have to take some time, and it's going to be a takeoff to have this building repaired. There are other conditions that are affecting the workers because as we know when you say that this building is erected here, all the time with environmental issues because of where.
There was no holding back the grief and tears as hundreds bade farewell to slain police constable Shane Welch this evening. 31-year-old Welch was accorded a full military funeral at the People's Cathedral, where his family, friends and colleagues joined in a moving tribute in the more than 2-hour-long service. Acting Superintendent of Police John Maxwell described the fallen officer as a dedicated member of the force who was always determined to serve and protect.
I was always fascinated by his ability to provide information that very often proved to be useful in solving crimes. In the recent past, there was an absurd or increase in criminal activity in the Oilsins police station, and a few days before his untimely passing, I reached out to him for assistance in addressing the situation, and in short order he was able to provide credible information that has begun to bear fruit. I found him to be mannerly, pleasant, and reliable. He was an unpretentious young man who had earned the respect of his peers. He could be called out for duty when he was off, and on occasions that he was required to, he responded, and never have I heard or learned that he was unable to do so.
The legacy of slavery has had a lasting negative impact on the self-esteem of people of African descent in many ways, including the educational system. And it's against that backdrop that the Commission on Pan-African Affairs has established the Mabuluzi program, aimed at meeting the educational needs of children of African descent. Facilitator Tempu Nefertari says the word Mabuluzi means ambassadors, and teachers involved in the program will be equipped to do this work on the Commission's behalf.
The Commission for Pan-African Affairs would like to individually, both as a body, go into the schools and do self-esteem work. But there's so many schools and there's so much to be done that can't be done. So the Commission has created this program, the Mabuluzi program, where the teachers being trained and provided with the right reference materials, etc., they do the work of building self-esteem in the schools.
Nefertari was speaking at the start of a 3-day workshop familiarizing teachers with how to go about building self-esteem in children of African descent. She stressed that teachers will have to go about their tasks differently.
And this is very critical for teachers to understand that you need to have a particular kind of attitude towards our children in the classroom to start with. So that little boy in the class that always beating on the desk, and you want to tell him, go outside, stand up by the door, that is not the approach to dealing with him. Because you have to bear in mind, this child, being a child of African descent, has a cultural memory that is now emanating out of him. What he's beating on the desk, you know what he's beating on the desk? There's some kind of rhythms that he remembers from, because this is in our DNA. You have to see that within the context. Think about how you're going to allow him to, apart from him beating on the desk and that being a cultural expression, something that many of our teachers are only now recognizing is that children learn differently. So the children who are kinesthetic learners, they have to be moving to learn. So find a way that he can still move and learn and not disrupt the class, because when he's happy, he learns more, he learns better.
The workshop delegates included teachers from Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, Antigua, and New York. BMEX 2018 is on, and there will be a few new surprises for patrons. After witnessing the dip in numbers last year, organizers of the island's premier manufacturing exhibition have stepped up their game. At this morning's launch of the event set for May 18 to 21st at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, President of the BMA, Robert Noel, revealed that not only will businesses get more exposure, patrons can look forward to a more interactive display in the food court and arts and craft section.
So what can we expect at BMEX this year? This year we'll be partnering with the talent search company, Start the Bacchanal. The company will be hosting a talent search event to provide upcoming entertainers with an outlet to showcase their talent, which ordinarily they would not have an avenue to do.
This year, the BMA has again partnered with the Technical Vocational Education and Training Council and the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. Chief Executive Officer of the BIDC, Sonja Trotman, said the organization will continue to use the BMEX as a platform to encourage entrepreneurial development and promote local businesses.
The challenge of penetrating overseas markets remains a difficult undertaking, and hence is a focal point of our endeavors to increase export earnings in the short to medium term. For the third consecutive year, therefore, the BIDC is extending its efforts internationally, facilitating an inward mission of buyers to participate in BMEX 2018.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. In Trinidad and Tobago, after serving as the Minister of Housing and Urban Development for just 1 day, Darrell Smith has been fired. The Office of the Prime Minister revealed that the decision to revoke Smith's appointment came after new information came to light in the controversy involving Smith's alleged inappropriate behavior towards a female employee at the Ministry of Sport.
There's no minister who is holding a position in the government that the Prime Minister does not have confidence in. If I do not have confidence in an individual who I had given a portfolio to, I will withdraw that portfolio without let or hindrance.
That was last week. Now, 5 days later, the Prime Minister's office announced that he had advised the President Paula May Weeks under the Constitution to revoke Darrell Smith's appointment as Minister in the Ministry of Housing, 1 day after he was so appointed following his removal as Sport and Youth Affairs Minister. TV6 News understands Carrie-Ann Moreau, who received a settlement of $150,000 in taxpayer money over a wrongful dismissal case against the Sports Ministry, is now employed at Udicott, which is under the Housing and Urban Development portfolio. However, we were informed that this was not the only factor the Prime Minister considered in having Mr. Smith's cabinet appointment revoked. The Prime Minister's office said Dr. Rowley met with Planning and Development Minister Camille Robinson-Regis and Mr. Smith on Tuesday, and new information came to the attention of the Prime Minister. In a telephone interview with TV6 News, Mrs. Robinson-Regis said she could not speak to the details of the new information, but revealed that she had investigated one aspect of Ms. Moreau's dismissal.
And on the international scene, an Algerian military plane today crashed near the capital, killing 257 people on board. According to officials, the aircraft came down just after taking off from Boufourik Military Airport. An inquiry is underway into the cause of the crash, deemed as Algeria's worst ever air disaster. The defense military reported that most of the dead are army personnel and their families. 10 crew members also died. The government has declared 3 days of mourning. And over in South Africa, thousands of people today paid tribute to Winnie Madikizela Mandela at a memorial service in Soweto. The anti-apartheid campaigner and ex-wife of Nelson Mandela, South Africa's first black president, died on April the 2nd. Mourners, many clad in green and yellow colors of the ruling African National Congress, danced and sang in a soccer stadium under grey skies.
She tried, and she was a great fighter. We all loved her.
Mama South Africa loves you. We will always love you. We will always remember you.
She didn't care of creed or color or anything.
Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.